Welcome to Subramani. Have you ever wondered what gift to give going for an event? Right? We all wondered. Could be somebody very close, could be your own kid, could be your nephew, niece, neighbor, friend's kid, any of those people, right? So you have always wondered what gift to give, what is your budget. Let's say your budget is 2,500 rupees or 5,000 rupees. Then you look at some, can I give, okay, I don't know what to buy, so I will give them a coupon, right? So you could give them a coupon of any shop or any, there is always the perennial Amazon where you can give the coupons. But one thing have you ever considered is giving them some mutual funds or direct equity as gifts, right? So what happens in this case, let me tell you the case of going for a nephew's thread ceremony 19 years ago, I think 2003. We couldn't find out what to give. Our budget was 5,000 rupees. So I gave him a child plan. Having said that, he is still not gone and changed it from minor to major, but that 5,000 rupees of 2003 is now worth 1 lakh, right? So what happens is then lifelong he is going to look at it and say, oh, this is what my uncle gave me, or this is what my aunt gave me, and say, and this has grown. Now it could also be a stock, right? You could have given, like somebody could have given you 1 share of Colgate in 1977 or 2 shares of Wipro in 1981. Any of those things, right? It would have grown to such a huge amount, right? Maybe you wouldn't have even touched it. You may have not even encashed too much of the dividends, or you may have encashed the dividends and used it up. That's still fine. And of course there are tax implications that you have to think about when you give shares, but if you give mutual funds, there is no tax implication. So if you are going for the birthday of your friend's grandkid or somebody like that, and you have a budget of 2,500 or 5,000, best is to get the PAN number and the KYC of the parent and making a gift of a child plan and telling them take it out when the kid is 18. The kid is going to remember it for the rest of his life. It is going to be an important could be an important thing for them, because it could be I have had during my thread ceremony, a first cousin who had just taken up a job. He had given me a State Bank of India recurring deposit, where he was depositing 5 rupees every month, right, over 60 months or something like that. Or so yes, he gave me a gift of 300 rupees, which had by the time become 400 rupees or something like that. I still remember that gift more than I remember some other gifts. Of course, you will do gifting if you travel to some place, and if you find there is something useful for your nephew, niece, cousin, friend, anybody, you will pick up those gifts. Of course you will do. But if you are just gifting for the sake of gifting, oh, main Graha Pravesh mein ja raha hu, I should pick up a Ganpati or something like that, then it's better to ask them, because it's going to be lying somewhere in their house, because on that day of Graha Pravesh they got 42 Ganpatis, 3 sun gods, 22 other items. They don't know what to do, and it is accumulating somewhere. So I do think, but of course it involves them, right? So you will have to get the details from them, the check details, etc., etc. You can give them cash and make them invest, right? Any of these things will stay on in their memory for just a very long period of time. I have friends who got shares of Supreme, Reliance, etc. when they were 4 or 5 years old, and they think of it very fondly. A friend of mine who is now about 62 got shares of Supreme when he was 5 years old or 7 years old, something like that, and he tells me that story very fondly. His father used to work there, and then so that shares have grown, accumulated, etc., etc. over such long periods of time, right? 40-50 years the share has grown. So what happens is, when you give equity shares as a gift, they get dividends, and that dividend, they think of you very fondly whenever that amount gets credited to their account, because their parents tell them, you know, that uncle who had come, he had given you shares of Supreme, and you have got 100 rupees dividend, you got 200 rupees dividend, you got 500 rupees dividend. That kid knows that you have given them a gift which they could use perhaps when they are 18 years of age for their education, or if they leave it untouched, maybe at the age of 55 for their retirement, right? So they are going to remember you for a very long period of time. That's not really the purpose. I mean, that is of course one of the secondary purposes, but the main thing is to say, instead of giving them things which are accumulating and somewhere lying there and they've forgotten about it, then they don't really value the thing that you gave. It's very important also not to fall for this gimmickry where the manufacturers of expensive products have said, the more expensive the gift that you give, the more love that you have. I mean, you may have love, but you may not have money. You may have money, but you may not have love. And if you have money and you have somebody who is willing to pick up gifts, they may pick up a very, very great gift, but that may not be very useful for the other person. But shares, getting them into the habit of investing, teaching them about how to invest, all that is very useful, especially child plans, right? So, and child plans from mutual funds, not child plans from insurance companies. So you could put whatever amount you want, 500, 5,000, 50,000, 1 lakh. I know one grandfather who put maybe 18, 19 years ago, he put 5 lakhs each for each of his grandchildren. I had just gone to his house, I was talking to him, and he said, seems to be a good idea, that the children will not be able to touch it till the age of 18. I said, yeah, put in the lock-in. So he put in the lock-in, and over 17, 18 years, I'm sure all those kids must have made a lot of money, because he put 5 lakhs for each of those kids. There were 4 kids, and he put 5 lakhs each. He had the cash, he put in that money, and I'm sure today the children are enjoying the benefit of that, right? And these children don't withdraw it when they are 18. At 30, they have to be kicked and pulled and sent to the place to say, okay, now change it from minor to major, put in your PAN number, put in your address proof, do your KYC, blah, blah, blah. Or only when all that is done, the money belongs to them. But that's fine. At least the process has started. You have taught them what is investing. And then especially if you give shares, they get dividends. And if you have given growth option for a child plan, then the value has appreciated, and value is appreciated very well, because they can't touch it for 18 years. So if you give it to a kid on the kid's first birthday, so next 17, 18 years, the kid is not going to touch it. Even if you give it to a person who is 11, 12 years old, by the time he actually goes or she actually goes and takes it, it will be 24, 25, maybe even 33. Like in this case, where in 2003 got it 19 years, he has not touched it, and today it is worth a lakh of rupees. Does that amount of money matter to him? No, but 1 lakh of rupees is not really small, right? It can be a contribution to his buying a new car or buying his tickets for a vacation, right? So what he uses it, how she uses it should not really matter. This is a good way of teaching the kid that here is somebody who loves you, who has given you this worth 5,000, 10,000, whatever be the amount, and that will keep growing. And when they get the annual statement, they're going to think about you. That's incidental. Thank you.